Welcome to an introduction to solving inequalities. We're going to talk about some set notation and number line graphing in this tutorial. And I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about was kind of how equations and inequalities, these types of problems are worked out very similarly. However, equations have a solution. The solution is a specific value or values, and we use the word equals. We have an equal sign there so that we know x is that specific value. Whereas inequalities, our solution is a range of values. We use less than, greater than, or we use less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. Alright, so what I've done here is I threw up an equation in our inequality using the same numbers, and you can kind of see the difference there. The solution has the same numerical value. They're both 7, but we read the equation as x equals 7 and 7 only. If you put anything else other than 7 up as x, it's going to make it a false statement. Whereas with an inequality, we got x is less than or equal to 7, so that means you could pick any value 7 or lower. If you pick 7, it'll be -2. -2 is definitely equals -2. If you picked 6, 6 minus 9 would be -3. -3 is less than -2, so that would be a true statement. Alright, so sometimes when we're working inequalities, they like to have our solutions written as a set in set notation. So I took that same inequality and kind of wrote down the solution there, and then I typed out what it should look like. It's got the braces with the x line, the x again, and then our solution. And the way you kind of read that is the solution set consists of x such that x is less than or equal to 7. Alright, so the last couple of things that we're going to look at here is how to graph these equations. A lot of times when we are working with inequalities, they're going to have us go to a number line. And on that number line, we're going to kind of graph out the inequality so that we can kind of get a visual, look at it visually and kind of see what's going on. So I've kind of just put x is less than 7. So when it says less than, again, we're going to just kind of start with that number in the center there, 7, and put a couple of numbers around it. And then we write a circle around that number. And then the way that we show our solutions is we do some shading. And anything shaded is included as a possible solution for our inequality. Now in this particular problem, we use the less than. X has to be less than 7 to be a true statement. So that means anything on the left side of that circle is going to be a true statement. But not 7, because 7 can't be less than 7. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So that's why that circle is kind of open there. It's saying, right at 7 it's not included, but anything on the left side is included. So let's go ahead and go to our next example. Alright, what if it did say equal to, had that line underneath that less than sign? So x is less than or equal to 7. Well, this time we would shade in our circle because 7 does equal 7. So 7 is included. And again, less than, we're going to shade to the left. So the difference is just, the first one had an open circle, meaning it's not shaded in, and then the second one had a closed circle, meaning that we did shade it in because 7 is included in our solution. Let's go ahead and go to our next one. Alright, x greater than 7. So our circle is open, 7's not included. This time we're going to shade to the right because any of those numbers to the right, any numbers that are greater than 7 would make that a true statement. 8, 9, a million, any of those numbers to the right there would be bigger than 7. And then our next example, if it said greater than or equal to, again, the only difference would be our circle would also be shaded in because it could be 7. 7 is equal to 7. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that quick introduction to inequalities will make the next couple of tutorials a little bit easier for you. And hope you're having a good week.